G'day mate, and welcome back to Satisfactory with me, JD. Now, if you're new here, you're seeing this for the first episode, up the top right hand corner, you will find a link to a tour of my mega base. Now, my mega base was designed to be future proof, is probably the best way I could put it. It was originally started when Satisfactory first released into early access, knowing full well we'd have elevator lifts and all sorts of things that would make our life easier in the future. This is why it's designed as a pyramid, with each level, as they get higher and higher up, doing more and more advanced manufacturing, needing the resources from the level below brought up to the top, and potentially the resources from the top levels brought all the way back down. Hence it was all built, always stepping in a level so we could always have room around the outside for elevator lifts. But unfortunately, that mantra there got repathed right through the middle of my base. On top of that, I hit a small FPS issue. Unfortunately, when I look at that mega base, before I ran the walls around the outside, I lost a quarter of my frame rate just looking at it, because it's all open with open windows, is probably the best way of putting it. It's got the walls... These ones, the wall conveyor 3 all the way through it. And the mantra's about to fly right through the middle of it right now. So yeah, it's all got the wall conveyor 3s all the way through it, which lets light in, because unfortunately we don't have internal lighting. But it also means that technically, even from this distance, all the belts and assemblers and everything are being rendered, which is being really mean on my poor graphics card. So, mainly because there's a mantra running through the middle of it, I've decided to change things up. And the way we're doing that is convincing the train to run. Good train. Come on, I need to jump back on top. Okay, I need jetpack. Yeah, okay, we're not getting back on top. We're just going to ride here. So, what I actually did is I opened up my base, for a multiplayer session, invited anybody who was able to, anybody who wanted to swing along, to come along and help, and to, one, wall in the outside to hopefully lower that frame rate drop, two, this canyon over to the side that's full of all sorts of spitters and other nasty things down there, because we're just north of the forest area. It was forest. I sort of went a little bit crazy with the chainsaw and cleared out some of the forest. So yeah, we're over a Grand Canyon down below, which it looks like the devs, at least in the Grand Canyon beneath us, have finished all the map editing. Up here's not finished yet, but hopefully that doesn't interfere with our new base. Anyway, I had people come along and help me concrete everything, because we're going over a whole new base. Going over to a whole new main bus style base. I've seen lots of these bases in the past. I've long-time Factorio player, so I'm more than familiar with the main bus style, but I think it can be done better. A lot better. Ignore the dead straight train track that passes through here, along with the dead straight belts. As I said, all this is being retired. Now, I looked at my options, and I had a really good option. I could just literally pull down everything, or, again, up the top right-hand corner, I did try to blow it up with a nuclear bomb. Alright, I tried to make a nuclear bomb in Satisfactory. Unfortunately, it didn't work, so my next choice was to decommission and hold the F button and deconstruct everything, and probably spend several hours doing so. But I'd already spent 100 and something hours in this map, and I decided I just didn't have the heart to deconstruct everything, nor to start afresh. I really like my tech tree. I really like the fact that I've unlocked every single... as far as I know, I've unlocked every single alternate recipe in the game. So, I've decided we're going to do something better. I have at least 24 different types of material that this base makes. So if we... Nope, wrong button. If we go through the recipe list, I have, all the iron parts, all the copper parts, screws, reinforced iron plate, rotors, modular frames, steel pipe, encased beams, stators, motors, heavy modular frames, quick wire, AI limiters, plastic, rubber, circuit boards, computers, so on and so forth. Crystal oscillators. That's about it. I've got pretty much everything up to tier 6 unlocked. So, what I actually want to do is I want to ship one of each of these items into this train station and have them shipped over to the new base. So at least I have some sort of production to get a new base started. So this is actually fairly easy, hopefully. We're going to just hook that into there and tell you to load. And then rinse and repeat. So that was quick wire. This is steel beams, encased industrial beams, heavy modular frames, motors, stators, screws. It's a bit of a mess, but we'll fix it at the other end. What are those? I can't remember what those are called. Stators. AI limiters, because we don't want the AI getting ahead of us and going out to rule the world. We got modular frames. Let's hook this one up and find out. What do you look like? You look like iron. Good old iron plate. This is cable. As you can see, my frame rate drops as soon as I come to this base. It also means that everything above me is now turning on to fill in these storage containers. So it's copper cable. Rods. Reinforced iron plate. I want to call them stitched iron plate, but that's technically wrong, even though that's the recipe I'm using. Plastic. Circuits. Rubber. Pipes. I'm also expecting I might blow a fuse here. Computers. Is that quartz? Quartz crystal. So that's already processed. Old-fashioned CD players, also known as crystal oscillators. And finally, aluminium. Are they the aluminium ingots? Aluminium ingots. And then I have one station free. Potentially for concrete, but concrete actually already gets shipped. Let's take a quick run up to the top. Concrete already technically gets shipped right to the top, right along this sky bridge, all the way out to the end, which happens to be close enough that if we apply a really large zoom to the game, we have a few conveyor bridges bringing our concrete all the way down to the far edge, all the way over there somewhere, so we could actually build this whole platform. So, with that done, in theory, provided this is all connected or configured, we should be ready to go. So I'm going to put in a cut here and we'll organise the unloading at the other end. Actually, just thought we'd pop in and have a look at the power network, and oh, wowzers. So the base idles at, low, like 1,000 megawatts, and we've jumped up to 4,000 megawatts with some interesting spikes in here as well. So the base is doing a little bit. I'm just waiting on the train, and it's still not coming. I'll catch up with you at the other end. And that's the train loaded. So, as you can see, we've got a lot of cargo moving from A to B. On top of that, I'll bring up a map right now. Even though the other end of the train, being this loco, is already popped out of the base, but my current pyramid base stretches from here to about here, with the train being slightly longer. Hopefully, I'll be able to superimpose an image of the train at one end. Hang on, I've got to get the zoom to the right level. Now I want 3.4. There we go. Hopefully, I can superimpose an image of the train at one end and the train at the other, and like the new area, well, the head loco's on it already. It's from here all the way down to here. This is the area we're building a main bus in. This was very small, very compact. As you can see my frame rate in the top right hand corner. I'm doing about 20 frames per second with this whole factory. It's all turned on at the moment. But as soon as I look at it, yeah, 12 frames per second. So, we're going to never look at it again. In fact, between episodes, I'm probably going to take those walls. I know I just said I'd never look at it again. Take those walls, stretch them all the way to the top, and probably change what open walls I've got here at the bottom to solid walls again. I'm down at 10 FPS now. But what I want to take you guys through is I want to take you through a new main bus design. Now, something you won't have seen before, I guarantee it. Do not fall into the train, JD. And hopefully this station's set to unload. I'm going to fall into the train. It will just run beside it. The train slows down so much at the other end that we can actually outrun it. You're set to... No. We want you to... unload. Yep. Hopefully I've got those two around the right way. Now we have the frontmost wagon that has nothing in it. Come on, train. A little bit further. No, none of them are set the right way. Alright, something to fix up. I'll be right back. Hello, train. So, train's going to unload this time. Which is going to fill every one of these storage bins. Well, except the first one. With different random goods. And the train's going to keep going back and getting more, which means whatever we hook these lines up to on our bus can be supported from the old pyramid base. Now, I don't necessarily want them supported at the pyramid base. I want to dismantle the pyramid base bit by bit. But I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm missing some piece of important tech or material because I've pulled down the old construction before replacing it with the new construction. So, first thing we need to do is we need to work out roughly what's where and hook it up to a main bus. So, that's aluminium, that's quartz, more quartz, supercomputers, that's a steel product. So what I want to do is I sort of want to start with my steel products and then work my way backward. Now, this is what I have for a main bus. And I've seen lots of main buses with where are we? Logistics. Splitters. Now we can stack splitters. I've seen lots of main buses that are like 6 splitters long, 6, 10, however many splitters high, and somebody's just running a belt between A and B now. And then if they want something off the main line, they can just pull material straight off one of these pre-designated splitters. Which sounds good in theory, except long term, you're limited by the throughput of that one belt. Which means things like plate or steel or iron ore especially, which is used in both iron construction and then again in steel construction, you need faster belts. Now, Satisfactory devs have been listening to us and they have given us faster and faster belts. We have the Mark III, the Mark IV got a small speed boost, and then we've got the Mark V. But you're still in a situation, if you're using more than 780 resources per minute, which sounds like a lot, but honestly, in a large megabase scale of things, it really isn't, then you have to run a second belt through a pre-established bus. I, on the other hand, are using storage containers. And the reason I'm using the large storage containers is because these have 2 outputs and 2 inputs. So if I end up with a situation where I need twice the amount of iron ore, I can just lay a new belt. And I've doubled the output of this machine, and I've doubled that box, and then I've doubled the input of this box. Which means, for something like iron ore, whichever one I decide I'm going to run iron on, I can then instantly just double the inputs. Now, what I've actually decided is the very... one of the rows, probably the last row, is going to be all our raw materials. And what I'd really like to do is I'd like to set up our steel products on our first set of bins. So, first thing I need to do really quickly is work out roughly how far we can build. And I'm going to leave you guys here and cut back in when I find out 6 steel materials that I can plug into these 6, 12, 20 something stack, whatever those things are called. I'm having a moment. Conveyor pole stackers to plug into our first 6 bins, because these bins, these first 4 rows of bins are designed to hold 24 items off our train, which can potentially be shipping us 24 different materials. So I'm going to put in a cut. I'll be right back. And we're back. And look, I've just hooked up the steel products. I'll hook up all the other products off air, off air. You guys really don't need to see that. It takes about half hour to run just the 6, to pre-plan and then run 6 lanes across. So we have 6 steel products. We have pipes. We have steel beams. We have heavy modular frames. Next one up is motors. Encased industrial beams. Must be all the way up here. All the way up here we have stators. So they're basically 6 products that come from the steel tree, and this is sort of how I want to organise my bus. Now, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. I could shove things in any old order, but I'm hoping that if I've got things sort of organised in some sort of categories, just the same as in Factoria, we would run like all our iron lanes together. I'm trying to keep all my steel products together. The next row I'll probably do will probably actually end up being my iron products. But if I plug these in here, we're going to start filling up our bus. Now, it's going to take ages and ages and ages to fill up. And that is one of the advantages of this bus system. Rather than certain products suddenly turning on because you're using them to make a later product and you needing to have a very large production per minute to keep up with the later items up the tech tree, I can actually make a very, very small, tiny build and work on a very, very large storage system. By the time even if we're going off and making train tracks, by the time this storage box fills at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, 1600, 3200, what's that? 4800? 4800 pipes with the next storage container further along that has another 4800 pipes with, rather than me putting in lots of either splitters or conveyor pole stackers, 6 tiles later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which should be as far as a belt should reach. Right here in this tile, I'm going to put down another industrial storage container. I'm going to line it up on the edge because I want it right on the edge of the line. No. right there. And then I'm going to hook up the next storage container to keep bringing my bus forward. Because I'm going to... Ooh, thanks autosave. Because I'm going to keep bringing my bus forward like this, I'm going to have so much storage on my bus that when I decide I need to bring pipes off to mass make whatever, I can very easily. Going... And then you may ask, well, this is just storage at the moment, JD. This is not a bus. You have no production. Well, what we're actually going to do is we're going to build our next tier underneath, because we have a lot of area down here. Like, a lot. There is more than enough room down here to bring levels down and make little production units along the way. But how do you get your items from up here to down here? Well, the easiest way is with logistics, a splitter. We want to split off... I don't even know what that item is up there. But we're going to split off that item. And we're going to put a conveyor lift down. And it's going to come to right there on the edge. No further than that. It's going to sit there beautifully on the edge. And then the main reason we've got this spacing is on that one. I can do the exact same thing. I can bring my conveyor lift down, park it right on the edge as well, and then I can very, very easily take two items down on my next level to pump into assemblers to bring my brand new item type back up and back onto my bus. This will become not a central walkway, but a production zone. Well, a spot to bridge on and off the bus. So that's really all I've got time for in today's episode. What we're actually going to do is, in the next episode, I'll actually build our very first subterranean level. Probably making some of the more expensive parts in Tier 7. So we don't have any Alcan aluminium sheets, which actually means I need to get copper ingots in here, which I do not have delivered from the old base. So we're probably going to have to actually do a copper ore section. So I'm going to have to bring in some more raw resources and then start making just some copper ingots to run down our bus. So I'm going to keep dragging our bus sideways. I'm starting to worry that there might not be enough room, because although on the map it looks like we have a lot of room, you can quickly and very easily see how much room exactly is taken up on a bus after you start stacking them up like this. So we'll see how we go. This is our first episode. As I said, episodes will be once a week. And we're going to see how far we get on our little bus trip. So thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.